Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the New York Jets Weekly Update. I'm your host, Stu Jets, and today we're going over all the New York Jets news stories from April 9th to April 15th. So without any hesitation, let's go ahead and talk about them. So starting off with Sunday's news, Odell Beckham Jr. signed with the Baltimore Ravens one day before he was set to visit the New York Jets. While it stings the New York Jets weren't able to sign Odell, it makes sense as to why he went to Baltimore. Because A, he's going to be a wide receiver number 1 with the Ravens. And with the New York Jets, he was most likely going to be a wide receiver 2 or 3. So he's getting a much bigger opportunity in Baltimore, and he's also getting a lot bigger paycheck. The Baltimore Ravens gave him a one-year deal with $15 million guaranteed, and he also, with incentives, could make up to $18 million. While it was reported the New York Jets offered OBJ a very lucrative contract, it was not worth that much. The New York Jets also met with LSU cornerback Jarek Bernard-Converse, during Easter weekend, so it could have been on Saturday, but we found out this news Sunday, so I'm just going to roll with that. Now, Bernard-Converse would be nice cornerback depth for the New York Jets, and on the consensus big board, he is 223, so most likely a 6th or 7th round pick. Could see a team reaching for him in the 5th round as well. On Monday, the New York Jets met with Michigan tight end Luke Schoonmaker. He's not the best receiving tight end, but he definitely is a solid blocker, and on the consensus big board, he is 128. So while I wouldn't mind the New York Jets adding a blocking tight end in this year's NFL draft, don't really know if I want us to do that in the 4th round, which is, where he's most likely going to fall in this year's NFL draft. On Tuesday, nothing happened, but on Wednesday, we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So first off, it was reported that the New York Jets had interest in making a run at DeAndre Hopkins, but then it turns out that was fake, as, Ian Rappaport said on the Pat McAfee show. So it doesn't sound like the New York Jets are going to be making a run at DeAndre Hopkins, but never say never. The New York Jets also met with a whole bunch of draft prospects, starting off with Tyler Sheen, tackle from Alabama. An interesting thing about Sheen is that he started his career as a defensive lineman in Vanderbilt, transitioned to offensive tackle, and then transferred to Alabama. Ring chasing, but he didn't end up with a ring, and as an LSU fan, that makes me very happy. But what to know about Tyler Steen? He can play both sides of the line. He has experience at both left and right tackle, which is something Joe Douglas values a lot in his offensive lineman, versatility. He also is both a solid run and pass blocker. He doesn't really excel at one aspect, which is why he's not considered to be a first-round talent, but he definitely is a solid player. He holds his ground in both the run and pass blocking game, and with good coaching, he could potentially develop into a, better player at both aspects of the game. And a lot of draft scouts say that he will develop into a nice starter by the end of his rookie contract. And someone he reminds me a lot of, maybe not because of his play style, but just as a player, is Kelvin Beachum. I just feel like Tyler Steen is going to turn into a Kelvin Beachum type of player. Someone that's not extraordinary, doesn't pop off the, charts with his phenomenal play, but he's a solid starter, holds his ground every game, and that's why I feel like Tyler Steen is going to end up becoming. And on the consensus big board, he is 97, so most likely a late 3rd round pick to early 4th rounder. The New York Jets also met with Oklahoma tackle Anton Harrison. Now, Harrison on the consensus big board is 33, and I've seen this dude mostly mocked in the late teens to early 20s. And I've even seen him mocked as high as 13 to the New York Jets. So the New York Jets could most definitely reach for him with the 13th overall pick, or we could trade back, acquire some more draft capital, and select Anton Harrison with a late teen or early 20s pick, or maybe even in the late 20s if you were to slide that far. But what to know about Anton Harrison? He was an All-Big 12 tackle for Oklahoma in 2022. He is mainly a left tackle, as he played left tackle every game in his college career except for one, and that was at right tackle. So I guess you could call him versatile, but he's mainly a left tackle. At Oklahoma, he also played in a run-heavy scheme, which does mean he's a good run blocker, but he wasn't asked to do much as a pass protector, which obviously has drawn some concern from NFL teams and scouts, but the little we saw from him as a pass protector definitely was promising. This dude also moves very fast. He ran a 4.98 40-yard dash and has a lot of strength, and he also will be 21 for his rookie season, so this dude definitely has a lot of promising tape. He has a lot of room to grow, especially with his very young age, and if the New Yorkers feel like this dude can develop into a nice tackle, I could see us reaching for him at 13. The New York Jets also met with Syracuse cornerback Garrett Williams. Now, I could see why the New York Jets have interest in Garrett Williams, because his name is very familiar to Garrett Wilson, something Joe Douglas has done through all of his draft classes is draft players with the same exact name. I mean, in 2021, he drafted 2 Michael Carters. I mean, we have a Bryce Hall and a Breece Hall on the team. I mean, there's just so many players with similar names on the New York Jets. It's crazy. So I can see why we have interest in Garrett Williams. But joking aside, there is a reason to why the New York Jets are interested in Williams, because while he played cornerback at the collegiate level, I think this dude can transition into the safety position, because you look at the positives on his, scouting reports. He has great ball skills and plays great in zone coverage. He's also a great tackler who provides great run support. I mean, all of this dude's positives are stuff that safeties need to be good at. So it makes sense for Garrett Williams to transition into a safety. And in fact, he said that NFL teams have even asked him about the possibility of him switching to the safety position. And the New York Jets probably were one of those teams asking him about that. So I could see the New York Jets drafting Garrett Williams with the intention for him to transition to the safety position. Now, Williams did tear his ACL in October of last year, which is around the time Breece Hall tore his ACL, so he's probably going to miss some of training camp, might even miss preseason games, but his pre-draft physicals have been checking out, so it looks like he's on a great trajectory with his ACL recovery like Breece Hall is. And all the consensus big board, he is number 80, so most likely a late second-round pick to an early third-rounder. On Thursday, the New York Jets waived punter Braden Mann. So long, Braden Mann, you gave us a lot of bad memories. I mean, sure, Mann had his nice moments with the New York Jets, but his tenure with the Jets definitely was rough. I mean, he had so many punts that cost the New York Jets games. It was unreal. He probably had costed the New York Jets more games than he had good games with the New York Jets. He just wasn't that great of a punter. The Pittsburgh Steelers did pick him up, so had the best of luck in Pittsburgh, man. But the New York Jets have already signed his replacement. We signed Thomas Morstead earlier in March. The New York Jets also met with Oklahoma State safety Jason Taylor on Thursday. In 2022, he was an All-Big 12 safety with the Cowboys. He's also a very powerful tackler who put up 80 tackles last year, but he does have the tendency to miss a tackle here and there. He also has a knack for tracking down the ball. He had 6 interceptions in 2023 and 2 in 2022. He's also good in special teams. I mean, as I mentioned, he's a good tackler, which is something you need to be if you want to play on special teams. And he also blocked a field goal to secure a win for Oklahoma State in 2021. And on the consensus big board, he is 254, so most likely a 6th or 7th round pick. Could see a team reaching for him in the 5th round. And the final news story that happened this week is center news. We know the New York Jets have interest in Ben Jones, but we also have interest in a lot of draft prospects this year. So first off, we had a top 30 visit and a private dinner with John Michael Schmitz, who was considered to be the best center prospect in this year's draft class. And we're about to have a top 30 visit with Joe Tippmann, who's considered to be the second best center prospect in this year's draft class. We also had pre-draft meetings with Luke Weipler from Ohio State and Ricky Stormberg from Arkansas. So the New York Jets are heavily invested into the center market in this year's NFL draft, and I wouldn't be shocked if we ended up drafting one. But that's all I got to talk about in today's video. What is your most favorite story from this week? What do you think is the most interesting story? Favorite player the New York Jets met with? Let me know down below, but I'm your host, Stuart, signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace.